Today we are going to talk about leptin. You may have never even heard of this hormone, but believe it or not, leptin wasn't discovered until 1994, and it plays a major role in our health and ability to stay lean. Leptin is a hormone made by our fat cells and is responsible for reducing hunger. It's also known as our satiating hormone, or the master hormone of body fat regulation. So when we eat a meal, leptin gets released by our fat cells and it travels to our brain. It basically signals our brain that the body is full and needs no more food. It's an important hormone that aids in appetite control. So in obesity, there's a lot of body fat and fat cells, and the fat cells release leptin according to their size. So the more fat you have, the larger the leptin levels. Now, increased leptin levels from their full fat stores should be telling the brain to stop the consumption of food. The problem is with obesity that the leptin signal isn't working properly, and there's a ton of leptin floating around, but the brain is becoming unresponsive to that signal and is tricked into thinking that there is too little leptin present. So your brain has essentially become numb to the stop eating warning, and this condition is known as leptin resistance. So we've already talked about the hormone insulin earlier, and how you can become resistant to it. And the hormone leptin is absolutely no different. Leptin resistance develops in response to chronically elevated leptin levels. So the brain eventually stops responding to large amounts of leptin being released, and you don't get that signal to stop eating. It mistakenly thinks the body is starving, even though it has more than enough fat stored. So first of all, our brain signals our body to eat more in order to not starve to death. Then secondly, it reduces our metabolism because the brain thinks we need to conserve energy. And this makes us burn fewer calories, and it makes us feel sluggish and lazy. The good news is that you can reverse your leptin sensitivity. If you're overweight or obese, most likely you are leptin resistant. This is the case especially if you have excess fat in the midsection, that muffin top. A big key to preventing and reversing leptin resistance is following a diet that keeps inflammation and triglycerides down. There are several things that you can do right now to increase your leptin sensitivity. They are avoiding processed food, consuming healthy fats, exercise, sleep, reducing your carbohydrate intake, and having a healthy protein intake. Now, did you notice anything about these recommendations? Yeah? They are the exact same guidelines for anyone just wanting to be healthy, regardless of their circumstances. Eating whole foods, exercising, and sleeping well are all lifestyle factors that contribute to health and wellness for life. So, where does intermittent fasting come into play here? Well, recent research from the International Journal of Obesity found that intermittent fasting was effective at reducing leptin hormones and improving leptin resistance. In addition, it fights inflammation and lowers triglycerides. So this is just another reason to be a very sensitive person. Agreed?